Hello, this video is called Time-Space versus Space-Time, and it's a very good video for atheists. I think I'd like to send this to atheists who are convinced that there's no God or whatever their philosophy is. Okay, it's basically shows that we are spirit. We're all spirit. We're not physical, we're spirit. Sorry, atheists. Excuse the yawning. I just woke up. This is like the second video I've done when I just wake up. Anyways, yeah, it's something that I saw on a YouTube video like last night, and it really was really exciting for me to see, and it really tripped me out. It was a talk by David Wilcock, and I saw it on maybe it's on this channel. I saw it on this channel. Shaktipatsir. This guy's got like 2,100 videos. He's got the whole history of Atlantis, of Lemuria, which I'm gonna watch now. Guys, like a professional uploadist. Okay, so it has to do with what David Wilcock said. It has to do with the double slit experiment. Now let me explain the double slit experiment, the uncertainty principle again really quickly, and if I run out of time I'll just make this a two-part video. Now, double slit experiment is something that totally baffled scientists, and I mean, I'm just wondering why not everybody knows about the double slit experiment, because it's totally insane. It's totally crazy. What it is it's these two slits. Well, first they start with a one slit, right? And they shoot protons through one at a time, and on the other side, you know, the little pickup marker, the proton would fly through and hit the paper on the other side and mark it. And so they'd shoot a whole bunch of them, you know, like a machine gun. So then it would fill up, you know, in the shape of a slit on the other side, as you would imagine. So then they do it with two of them. Now I don't know how they do it with two of them. Maybe they'd have two guns, which would shoot it in front of one slit and then the other one in front of the other slit, or they'd move it back and forth, or they would just shoot it like that, and they just expect the protons, you know, to just go, and the ones that go through, and the ones that hit the wall, not on the slit, you know, don't hit the wall. But anyways, if you shoot, you know, a bunch of baseballs through the slit and of corresponding size, you're going to get two slits, right? Well, in the double slit experiment, that's not what they got. What they got was what you would get if you were to have the slits immersed, you know, halfway through water, and then you push the water through, and the water goes through in both of the slits, and then the water kind of goes through the slits and then continues to expand, and then the two waves hit each other, and then the other waves hit each other, and so they become exponentially smaller. Until they get to the board, which isn't so far away, and then you know, the peaks of the waves hit the board and make the line. So it's all these different lines. So these particles, the proton particles, weren't acting like particles. They were acting like they were waves, which baffled them, because they were shooting the particles, they were shooting these protons through individually, right? Now, and so if they were shooting them one at a time, how could the different particles be hitting each other the way waves do? You know, and bouncing off each other and creating what's called interference patterns. So they go wacky. Well, let's shoot them down one at a time, like slow it up and just shoot them one at a time. Make sure that we're only doing it one at a time. So they do that, and they shoot it really slowly, one at a time. Bonk. Bonk. So there's no way they can be interfering with each other, bouncing off each other. What do they get? Sure enough, the same interference patterns, all the different lines, which is crazy wacky. So 4:20. Every time I look at my watch, it's 4:20. So they go, oh, wacky. So they go, all right, well, let's freaking film it with a video camera so that we see exactly what's happening here, right? Like how they're bouncing off each other, even though it's one at a time. The other one's already hit before the other one gets shot. So they do it. They film it. And you know what happens? Even though the gun does it the same exact way at the same exact speed, you know what happens? This should baffle you. It's just a single line, like it's a particle. The proton goes through and hits the wall just like they originally thought. So they go, what the Fritzy Schnitz. Turning on, how did the electron, or how did the proton know that we did that? The proton act differently when they turn the camera on. So basically what they did is they created their own universe by watching it. They created reality by watching it, by focusing their focus on it. Now this is the part that really whacked me out. Is David Wilcock on this video is saying that this Russian guy called, I think his name was Dr. Smelyakov from Russia back in 1989. Now why this isn't common knowledge trips my balls out, and I hope it's true. I hope it's not some little lie. But this Smelyakov guy shoots buckyballs. He shoots little like, what are they called? Compounds? Not compounds. Molecules of carbon. So they get obviously molecules. They get 60 carbon atoms connected to each other in a round circle. So it's this big chunk of carbon, right? And this guy shoots these chunks of carbon through the slit of, I guess, corresponding size. I don't know exactly how big. David Wilcock said how big the slits were. And you know what happened, people? Interference pattern. Same exact thing as the proton. Even though so basically it's the equivalent of shooting a baseball through holes, and then one at a time, and then on the other end you'd get all the different slits as though the baseballs were all going through simultaneously at the same time. As it was like, so is matter, is light, particle, or wave? Well, now the question is matter particle or wave, because it's like the whole line of the buckyball. So basically, and obviously if you do that with a baseball, the baseball's not going to turn into one wave as you shoot it through. So basically what you want to imagine is you shoot the buckyball through, and all of a sudden, even though it's matter, it just fuses. If you can picture it, just fusing all into one big potentiality, one big wave when it's just an infinite amount of buckyballs, right? Pieces of carbon, infinite amount of them all connected to each other, and so anything could happen. Any buckyball could go anywhere, and it's so that's basically space-time. Right now we're in time-space, which means that we can move around in space, but we're fused in time. You know, we look at our watch and the seconds go by, and we walk down the street and we can't get there until 5 minutes and stuff. But in space-time, or in time-space, that's where the buckyball goes when you shoot it, where time doesn't exist at all, and it's infinite potentiality. Anything can happen. Now, the crazy thing about that is that these are big. These things are big. It's not light. Now, another interesting thing about it is the buckyball is the same exact size in diameter as the DNA, as our DNA, the double helix. So that means that maybe our DNA, while we're alive, isn't even matter. It's just this vibrating potentiality, and it only becomes matter with all the things in specific places once you kill the cell and you look at it and you freeze it into your own particular reality, just like when the guys filmed the protons go through. So and he also mentioned that that Wilcock mentioned, I think there was another Russian scientist, I guess the Russians are doing all the cool shit, sent like a virus, I guess the light signature, or he had a virus, and he sent light behind the virus through a quartz crystal over to another culture of really healthy cells, and the healthy cells got the virus. So, it's like when you talk to somebody's phone, it's not them who's talking to you, but you can feel their soul, and it actually is like they're talking to you. So it's kind of like teleportation is actually possible. So life is actually energy. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that life is actually energy, then what can? Life is actually like everything that exists. It's actually us creating it. And but then he also went into like the pineal gland. Our pineal gland has little light capturers, just like our eyes do. These little cones of something that actually are the things that absorb the light and translate it. Our pineal gland has that. So our pineal gland sucks in the light, the real energy, and then tells our DNA what it's going to do, and then the DNA obviously tells our body what our body's going to do. So everything's controlled by our soul. Anyways, I think I got that under 10 minutes. Whew.